7 a.m. in the morning, and or 7:30 now, and there's two guys working on the top of that building over there with a jackhammer. Yesterday afternoon, just before dark, there was three guys there, and and like there's no safety rails or anything, and they're jackhammering the edge off of the building. I think they're probably going to extend the building and make it a bit taller, but I'm not real sure. Maybe they're pulling the whole building down with a jackhammer. I don't know. But there's one guy standing down the bottom, and he watches for traffic. But you can see all the rocks on the ground there, right? And so you know, you wouldn't want to be hit by a bit of falling concrete from that height, that's for sure. Anyway, and you certainly wouldn't want to fall off there. But there's some fall down then. But you imagine in Australia there'd be nobody allowed to work like that. Especially like the way he's holding that jackhammer and pushing it towards the edge. You know, your whole body weight pushing over towards the edge and trying to hold a 45 kilo jackhammer from falling over the edge at the same time. Right. Yeah. Anyway, not for me. And he yells out for him to stop. They stop for a minute while he walks through. Maybe there's another guy on the other side. But anyway, that's me in Vietnam at the moment. And over here, I've got my nice little lake over in there. Well, it's not mine, but somebody owns it. And the guy just rode past on a push bike before, who's catching some fish out of there. And my local, morning, how are you? One of my local old guys here. And there's also another old guy who lives in this house here, who every morning when he comes out and sees me, he gives me a big salute. I don't know whether he was in the army or what, but for some reason he salutes me all the time. But anyway, yep. So all good fun. Anyway, it's the Vietnam lock-in at the moment. So like Vietnam's got about 220 cases of coronavirus, and America's got 600,000. And Vietnam's right on the border with China and very close to Wuhan. It's just like a few hundred kilometres over the border, and right from the start, Vietnam was very, very careful to make sure that they handed out free masks for everybody to wear masks. They've been posting in the Facebook and newspapers and that, anybody that got infected, and everybody, you know, who come near them gets quarantined. I think they've got something like 50,000 people in quarantine, and it's not voluntary quarantine, but they've only got 200 cases, so they're really taking it seriously. They had a collection here the other day where for the coronavirus. So if literally the government officials come around and they collect from your house. Well, it's voluntary, so you give whatever money you like, but then they write your name down against how much money you gave, and then if you ever need help from the government, if you didn't give any money or you didn't help support the people that need it at the moment, then if you need, you know, a building approval or something, it just doesn't get approved if you didn't help. So like I didn't know that was the rules beforehand, so we only gave 100,000 VND, which is about $70 or something, but some people gave like 2 million VND, which is like $1,300 or something, and some people sorry, no, that's not right. I got that wrong. Sorry, it's early in the morning. I was up late. 2 million's only 100 and there's 1.3 million at the moment or 1.35 million to $100. So it's only $130 odd. And the 100 V&D we gave is like 100 V&D is like less than $10. So anyway, so I guess if I ever want any building work done here, the local officials are going to say no. But if I'd known those were the rules beforehand, I'd certainly be giving you a lot more. And obviously a lot of other people knew. And I asked her why there was other people on the list that gave 2 million, and she said, I don't know. And that's my wife that I asked. And but now that I do know, yeah. Anyway, so that's me. But I guess if the rest of the world had taken the virus seriously, like we got here in January 20, and like just a few days after we got here, they were really ramping up handing out masks and everything. By early February, like, you know, they were on the streets with loud hailers going around and warning everybody about the virus. So if the rest of the world had done the same, there'd be a lot less deaths. But at that stage, Trump was still saying it was a flu, and you know, the country was well prepared, and we're going to handle it great, and we'll get out of it, and you know, and criticising the rest of the world that got the virus and that. And now he's, you know, I think last tally was that America's had I think 30,000 deaths and 600,000 people that currently have the virus. So and it's like the 17th of April or something like that. Anyway, yeah, but can you imagine? There's so much building work going on at the moment in Vietnam, and their economy's still strong. The thing is, SARS isn't going to affect the local Vietnamese people very much, because everybody lives next to a place where they grow food, you know. So all the food's local. It's not trucked in from hundreds of miles away, and all the locals have got family members that live on farms or that still that grow food, or they can swap food for something else that they do, you know. And in Vietnam, it's just not available to borrow money. So you know, people don't have credit cards. Like Lily thought my bank card was a phone card. She thought I had another phone card or something when I first came over with a bank card, because it had the little chip in it, and she'd never seen a bank card with a chip in it before. And you know, so people just don't borrow money, and if you don't borrow money, losing your job, you know, the rent here is really cheap, because the government rates are only about $10 a year. Like, so on my house here, I pay $10 a year in rates. You know, power and water's fairly cheap, food's cheap, you know. Well, food's actually expensive, but relatively speaking, but they don't pay any taxes, or not very much taxes. I think Lily pays about $10 a month in tax out of her $300 odd that she earns. So you know, it's not very much, you know, 5% or something, yeah. So I think the people in Vietnam are going to handle the SARS virus a whole lot better, you know, than anybody in the West. And there's no distribution problems here, you know, like Vietnam grows more food than they can eat. They're a net exporter of food, but you know, so is Australia with so many things. But when you can't roll the trucks to go and get the food, the farmers plough the food into the ground. That doesn't happen here. The food's all grown locally, like near population centres. So, and I mean, and they took the virus seriously in the first place. But if there's a global depression, I really don't think it's going to hurt Asia as much as it hurts the West, just simply because most Asian families don't have big mortgages or debts or that. They're not going to lose their house. You know, like even I own this house here, but and I say even because everybody does own their own home. You know, women don't get married to you unless you buy a house, and that means owning it. Doesn't mean borrowing the money from the bank normally. You might borrow money from family, but then again, if you borrow money from family, they're not going to foreclose on you if you lose your job, you know, and kick you out. Because if they kicked you out, you'd come and live with them. So, you know, anyway, Vietnam's got a lot of those things all sorted out, and I mean, the West has really lost its way with the way we borrow money, I think. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, share.